President Trump's pick to lead the Office of Special Counsel appears to be on thin ice, and that, quite honestly, may be a generous take. You now have the top Republican in the Senate, John Thune, saying this about Paul Ingrassia: he's not going to pass. It comes after Politico reported on racist text messages Ingrassia allegedly sent in a group chat with the Republican operatives. In one message, Ingrassia allegedly texted that the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday should be tossed into the seventh circle of hell where it belongs. In another, Ingrassia, in a back and forth, allegedly wrote, "I do have a Nazi streak in me from time to time. I will admit it." CNN's Annie Graer is on Capitol Hill for more. So you have this reporting, and you have what is in terms of the response from lawmakers on Capitol Hill now.
Well, Leader Thune was very clear last night, Kate. He said that Ingrassia doesn't have the votes, and he hopes that the White House pulls this nomination. Ingrassia was expected to meet in front of the Senate Homeland Security Committee on Thursday, and at least one of the Republicans on that committee, Republican Senator Rick Scott, told me last night that he does not support Ingrassia. So that right there is enough Republican opposition to end this nomination, assuming that all Democrats also vote against him, which we are expecting him to do. So Trump nominated Ingrassia to lead the Office of Special Counsel, which oversees all federal whistleblowers and civil servant laws. But his nomination has been clouded with controversy. CNN has reported on his history of alleged racist comments, and as you mentioned, the Politico reporting has a lot of messages in there. I'm going to read you two more of them. In one alleged message, Ingrassia says, quote, "Never trust a Chinaman or Indian, never," end quote. And in another text, Ingrassia writes, quote, "Blacks behave that way because that's their natural state. You can't change them." He then added, according to the chat, quote, "Proof, all of Africa is a shithole and will always be that way," end quote. Now, Ingrassia and his team are pushing back firmly on the latest Politico reporting. In a statement, his attorney says, quote, "In this age of AI, authentication of allegedly leaked messages, which could be outright falsehoods, doctored or manipulated, or lacking critical context, is extremely difficult. We do not concede the authenticity of any of these purported messages." So it is now in the hands of the White House, Kate, what they are going to do here. But Leader Thune was clear in his message. It's very rare for Republicans on Capitol Hill to push back on one of Trump's nominees, but we are seeing that here. Some Republican senators are expected at the White House later today, so we are going to be tracking closely if the president makes any statements or the White House makes any changes to Ingrassia's nomination.
Yeah, this is a space to watch today for sure. When John Thune says isn't going to pass, John Thune should know and does know what he's talking about when it comes to this. It's good to see you, Annie. Thank you very much.
With us now, CNN senior political commentator David Urban and Democratic strategist Megan Hayes. I just want to read a few more of the text that Daniel Lippman reported on here, because what we said there only scratches the surface. In January of 2024, Lippman reports that Ingrassia allegedly wrote of former Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, "Never trust a Chinaman or Indian, never." And then discussing why Republicans feel Democrats make black people into victims, the text show Ingrassia remarked, "Blacks behave that way because that's their natural state. You can't change them." Another one, according to Politico, "Proof, all of Africa is a shithole and will always be that way." I'll read a statement from Ingrassia's attorney in just a moment. But first, David, to you, based on this reporting, why hasn't Ingrassia's nomination been pulled yet?
Yeah, John, I suspect that it will be today at some point. You know, interestingly, the president is having Republican senators to the White House to thank them for helping him get his nominees through so quickly, and obviously this will be a topic of discussion. I would suspect that he'd have his nomination, or be told to have his nomination withdrawn, or have it withdrawn himself before that event occurs or right afterwards. Look, John, there's clearly no justification for having this individual out there. I mean, it is. You know, he's claiming, and his attorneys are claiming, well, it's AI. We're not owning up to this. You know, that's convenient to do, but it's just despicable. It's insane that somebody who's vying for a position of trust and integrity within the government would be so callous and just insane about these very sensitive topics. You know, guy should be gone. Plus, I do believe that, you know, Senator Thune is right. There are three. What I recall is three Republican members of the committee on the committee saying they'll vote against him. So he's not going to make it out of the committee to even begin with. So he's dead man walking at this point. Quicker they turn the page on this, the better for the White House.
Megan, let me read the statement David was talking about from the attorney from Paul and Gracia. In this age of AI, authentication of allegedly leaked messages, which could be outright falsehoods, doctored and manipulated, or lacking critical context, is extremely difficult. We do not concede the authenticity of any of these purported messages. What issues do these texts raise for you, Megan?
I mean, just sort of like what David said, he's not qualified to be serving in government position. They're disgusting and gross. And I think that we're learning through this administration, when people show you who they are, we should believe them. And I would imagine that the White House withdraws its nomination rather quickly, as David pointed out.
And Megan, you've worked in a White House. I'm just curious how it got this far, right? Administrations for nominations vet candidates here. And yes, Daniel Littman is a terrific reporter and there's some great reporting here, but this doesn't seem that deep under the surface.
No, absolutely not. But sometimes private chats don't come out in a vet. I think sometimes people have a cross to bear with somebody and they leak these chats to the media. It gets more play if it's leaked to the media than they find it in a vet. Clearly, this goes past what they want to happen in a nomination hearing. They don't want this person to work in the administration at all because he is dead man walking, as David suggested. So I just think that there is a lot more internal politics at play here with some folks who go up for a nomination. But when these texts are disgusting, and people should believe that this is who he is, and it shouldn't go any further.
And David, if you were crafting the statement from the White House, or J.D. Vance, for instance, the Vice President of the United States, who of the young Republicans, when some racist text messages came out of reporting last week on that, he basically said, oh, these were just jokes, their lives shouldn't be ruined based on this. These were young people. Would that kind of statement go far enough here?
No, John, look, Megan's the expert on communication, but you simply say, this kind of rhetoric will not be tolerated in this administration, and therefore we respect everybody who withdraws a nomination. Pretty simple.